Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's only me again, and yep, we're out doing some more metal detecting today. So today's actually quite a cool day. I've actually come out with Brian. You might remember Brian from a few of my previous digs. He's taken me to one of the fields that he's been in quite a bit and had some really good finds from. The best news is this field is recently been ploughed, it's been rolled, and it has been seeded. The farmer's happy for us to come in here as long as we're really careful. We aren't allowed to use shovels, so we've got to use our hand digging tools. But I'm okay with that. I think it's going to be pretty good digging. The things that Brian's had out of here are lots of medieval bits, buckles, buttons, coins, all sorts of really nice shiny trinkets. So hopefully we can replicate some of that luck today and find some of our own. As we do, you guys are going to see absolutely everything that comes out, so continue watching for that one. And that just leaves me to say thanks again for watching my videos. And if you do enjoy them and you want to subscribe, you don't have to, it's completely your choice, but the button's just below. And of course, give me a thumbs up, that helps the channel grow. So anyway guys, that's the talking over. We're going to get a lot of digging done today, and I will see you all on the very first hole. Okay, we have our very first target in the field today. It's coming in around 77, 78. Now, I've had to be pretty accurate about how I pinpoint this because, of course, if I get this wrong and I'm only using a hand trowel, then it's going to take absolutely ages to dig each target. So I've got to take a little bit more time on each one, just trying to make sure I absolutely know where it is. But this is the first one, guys. Let's give it a dig together and see what we've got. Okay guys, I have finally found it. I've forgotten how difficult it is using a hand trowel, you know. And I know that this is nice ploughed soil, but it has rained recently, so it's really compact. And yeah, it's pretty tough, but I have it. And here is the target. And what have we got? Please be something good. Okay, so I don't think it's anything good on the first one, unfortunately, guys. It actually looks like it's just a piece of copper alloy, a scrap piece of copper alloy, possibly a brace or a tie for something at some stage. But yeah, absolutely no historical value and no good. So we're just gonna have to move on. Let's see what else we can find. So this is my very second target today, and I think I've gone and found a button. It looks relatively old. Haven't really cleaned it up yet. Let's do that together, but a button's better than a piece of scrap alloy, so let's check it out. Okay, so let's give this little bad boy a clean. First of all, let's take the back off there. Now this is what makes me think this button's quite old, because it's a nice domed design. It doesn't look very well made. So generally, if it's not very well made, it could be handmade. And if it's handmade, then hopefully it could be quite old. But there we are, guys. Look, as you can see the dome, obviously the old shank there on the back is broken. I can't really tell if there's any sort of decoration on the front of that one. I might have to give it a squirt of water in a minute. But yeah, second target is a nice little button. I'm not going to argue with that at all. Hopefully that's a sign of good things to come. Wow guys, I found something huge and really super heavy as well. I mean, this was a absolutely screaming signal, so it was either going to be something really good or really big. But yeah, what an amazing signal. I don't really know what this is, I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of actually looks a little bit like a pot mend or something like that, but it's got a very odd shape to it. It's got something like a sort of conical design with something on the top there sticking out. But yeah, I just don't really know what this is. I mean, I can tell that it's made of a sort of bronze, a very coppery, bronzy type material. It almost looks like a bit of slag metal because it doesn't have any distinguishable shape to it. But it does have this sort of conical raised bit here. So it's almost like it was designed to sit flat and then have something up here, which is maybe broken off. Or this is the offcut to something that they were casting and they cut it off there, and this is just essentially bronze waste. But this could be pretty old if that's the case. But unfortunately, I don't think we're ever going to find out exactly what this is, which is a real shame because it's very likely this could certainly have some age to it. But I'll put it in the bag, it will weigh me down, but I'll keep it, clean it up, you never know, we might find some more of them. Possibly evidence of manufacturing here, but yeah, let's push on. I've just had this really interesting little find, and I think that it's silver. So it took some finding because it was actually relatively deep, which is great news because if your detector's finding stuff deep, then you know you've got the right settings really. But what I actually think that this is a very small buckle fragment. And I actually think it is a silver buckle. Now, if you look at the buckle itself, it's almost in a kind of crescent type shape. So it's very, very likely that this is actually off of a shoe buckle. Being silver, this obviously would have belonged to somebody that was quite prestigious, had a lot of money. It's not a normal thing really to have silver shoe buckles unless you're pretty well to do. Maybe you're a trader, maybe, you know, you're making money from selling goods, and yeah, you've got enough money to commission somebody to make you lovely silver shoe buckles like this. But it's just a fragment, guys. It's obviously been battered by the plough. This field, you know, gets ploughed on rotation quite a lot, so unfortunately we haven't got a whole shoe buckle, but to find a tiny fragment of a silver shoe buckle, it's pretty good. Quite happy with that. Got a really nice 75, 76 here. I don't think it's very deep. It's not the cleanest of all signals, but it's definitely a digger. So let's give this one a go. Try and pinpoint it. Okay, I think it's in there. Okay, let's try that. Okay, so it's still in the hole, but it's saying that it's moved. We might possibly have to get the pinpointer on this one. Okay, here we go. That was a lot of digging for something that doesn't look very good. So it's copper alloy again. Really, really bronzy, nice and green. It's been in the ground for ages. But unfortunately, it's just another piece of scrap. So I've just picked this tiny little piece of pot up from the surface. It was a tricky spot because it was lying flat and it had mud all on the top. But this is a very, very interesting piece of pot. Now, if you look at the internal fabric, can you see all those lovely inclusions? Lots and lots of different elements in there. It's very, very crudely made. There's a likelihood that this is a very early piece of medieval pot, for sure. There's no glazing on it that I can see. It's relatively thick, but this is the sort of stuff I'm looking for because, you know, this tells me that there's people here and they were using pots. So that means we might find some good stuff yet, guys. Let's keep going. I'll keep you posted. So I've just had a really interesting kind of surface find, really. I would say that this was probably no more than 2 inches below the actual soil. And it's a really sort of intricate decorative buckle fragment. So once again, the buckle is completely smashed. The plough has done its job. You know, not only is it designed to turn up the soil and break through the rocks, but of course, lovely little decorative buckles like this don't stand a chance. But it's quite interesting. It's a little copper alloy fragment. I would probably say this was early Georgian, maybe, you know, a little bit later, but it would have been really, really nice when it was new. Really, really shiny. What sort of buckle this was? Not 100% sure. Possibly a belt buckle. A little bit too big for a shoe buckle, but it's a really nice design. It's got this sort of caterpillar type design to it. But yeah, there we go, guys. Lots of buckle fragments today. Maybe we'll get something good. Okay, so it's happened, guys. I was hoping I was going to find one of these. Brian has found quite a few in this field, although he has been doing it for some time. He was showing me some of the finds that he's had in here, and it's consisted of a lot of rose farthings, some hammered coins dating back to Edward I, a really, really nice Edward IV groat as well. And I've just had what I believe is a little silvered hammered coin. Now, this was a really odd signal. It was actually coming up at around 71 to 73. It definitely wasn't screaming dig me, but I was going to give it a dig anyway, and I'm glad I did, because this most certainly does look like a hammered coin, but the condition of it, unfortunately, is just terrible. It's broken for a start. Unfortunately, the plough has ripped a bit off the side of it. It's very, very extremely worn, and you can't get much detail from it at all, unfortunately, but it is super thin. I mean, it's a very, very thin coin, so I was quite lucky to pick it up, but I think it was due to the actual size and the circumference that I was able to find this. Really difficult to tell what sort of age this is. I mean, I'm going to hazard a guess and say that it could be a Elizabeth I, sixpence maybe, something like that. Could be a Mary, but I'm not overly sure. But oh, it's really nice to find one. It's been a little while since I've actually picked one up, and Brian did say that they were in this field, so absolutely chuffed to actually find one. Can't wait to show Brian in a little bit. I mean, it's not the best condition, guys, but it's still a hammered coin nonetheless, and it kind of ties in with all the little buckle fragments and things like that that we've had in this field. So yes, my first one. Super happy. Let's push on, see if we can get some more. We've got quite an interesting little target here, showing about 93 on the VDI, 93, 94. It's fairly consistent, but it doesn't sound like an overly great target. So I think we should give this one a dig, see what's in there. You never know, it could be something good. That hammered coin certainly didn't sound very good, and that turned out to be a hammered coin. So let's see what it is. Actually looks like we found a coin. So it's quite an interesting looking coin. But it's not a hammered coin or anything like that. It's very, very thick. So it's the size of a 1 penny, but much thicker. Made of a copper alloy. Not much detail left on there at all, guys. It's really difficult to tell what type of coin this is. The size, the thickness, could be something like a George II, something like that. But that's about as far as I'm going to go at the moment with that one. Yeah, it's about the size of a 1 penny, but I'd say it was about half again thicker than a 1 penny. So if anyone out there can help me with what they think this coin might be, please leave a comment below. But yeah, oh well, it's a coin. Hopefully it's a coin anyway, it could be a coin weight. But let's push on. Goodness, guys. So I was just walking along here, wasn't really getting very much, to be honest, and I had this target which was, you know, dig me 84, 85. Took me a little bit of time to find it because my pinpointing's a little bit off, to be honest with you, so I'd kind of dug just left of it, but I have pulled something out of the ground which is really, really cool, really interesting. So on first inspections, this just looked like a normal piece of solid sort of bronze, something like that, and it was absolutely covered in mud. I've given it a light clean with my toothbrush and I could see gold gilding coming through. So I thought, okay, this isn't just a scrap piece of bronze, somebody's paid a bit of attention to this. And then I got my toothbrush out and I started cleaning it, and all of a sudden I saw a face looking back at me. Now, I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is from. I really don't know how old this is. But to me, this looks like the face of Christ, because it's got this round kind of headgear, the long hair and the beard. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever seen that kind of imprint of the Shroud of Turin. It almost looks like that type of face. It's quite uncanny how similar it looks. I haven't cleaned it up properly yet because what I don't want to do is take away any of the gilding that was left on it, but it's a really odd item. It's so strange because it's got this kind of bar that's sticking out of the left-hand side, and that was all gold gilded at some point as well. And there's quite a bit of intricate detail, really. Somebody's paid quite a bit of attention to the detail of his hair. Somebody's paid quite a bit of detail to the beard as well. And it's super cool. I mean, I've never ever found anything like this. This could be a really, really nice medieval find for sure. It's obviously something to do with a monastic background, isn't it? But what is it? And what was it used for? Is that his arm? Maybe that's an arm sticking up to the left, which means that if that's his arm, maybe this is part of a bronze statue of Christ being crucified on the cross, because his arms would have been up like that as he was on the cross. So this actually could be one of his arms, and the other arm has obviously broken off. But this is a really, really significant little find, guys. I mean, yeah, it's going to take a lot of research to try and figure out what this is, but my feeling, my gut feeling, is that this is definitely of the sort of broad medieval type period. It's very stereotypical because, you know, people used to carry things like this around with them. It's also known as well that when the dissolution of the monasteries happened during the reign of King Henry VIII, a lot of the monasteries that got sacked and ruined are things like the depictions of Christ, and all the ornaments and artwork got destroyed. Now, a lot of them got thrown into fires, but a lot of them as well ended up just being broken and burnt and chucked away. So wouldn't it just be such a wonderful thought that this was once part of a medieval monastery's ornamental display, and it got taken during the dissolution, thrown into the field, and I've come along and picked it up after all this time. What a wonderful, wonderful little item. Really nice 81, 82 here, guys. So strong potential that this could be a nice little coin. But it's certainly something very conductive. So let's get the old hand trowel out and work our magic, and let's see what comes out this time. Oh, so I've got to admit that using this hand trowel really takes its toll on you after a while, especially when the ground is so compact. Okay, so it's come out already, so it was literally just in the first few inches, which is really good. So let's see if we can find it. Is it going to be a little coin, or is it going to be some more trash? Here we go. Oh wow, I think I've just found another hammered coin. And it's on a live dig this time as well. Yes. This is either a hammered coin or it's a tiny little button. But it certainly looks like a hammered coin, that's for sure. What an amazing field this is turning out to be. Let's give this one a little clean and see what we can see. Okay guys, so now is the time. Let's give this one a bit of a clean and see what comes up. So, it's got to be a hammered coin, isn't it? It's just got to be. It certainly looks silver to me, for sure. It's very thin. Doesn't appear to be much detail on this one. Very similar to the other one that I found. But here's the front. And that does have a little bit of detail on it. Let's just get this in focus here for you. So, can you see that? That to me is a shield, and there is a date above the shield. So let's try and read that and see what we've got. So that is a 15, so it's definitely a Tudor hammered coin. I think that says 1585. I don't know, maybe you guys can see that slightly better on the camera, but wow, what a fascinating little coin. Can't believe we've gone and found another hammered coin. What a lucky day today we're having. It's quite an unusual coin, this, isn't it? Because it doesn't have your typical legend around the outside. So that probably means something. If you look at this side, you see how it's just got this blank rim that goes all the way around the outside. Is this possibly like a forgery coin, maybe? Not 100% sure, but you can very carefully, with the eye of faith, just make out Queen Elizabeth's head on that side. So it's going to require a little bit of work, this coin, guys, to try and get much more detail from it. But we have just gone and found another silvered hammered coin, potentially a similar age to the last one that we found. Now, I haven't found one like this before, so I don't know whether it's a certain type. I don't know whether it's like a half groat or something like that, but it's very unusual. It just doesn't have the normal legend going around the outside. So if anybody out there is pretty adept with Tudor coinage, then please let me know. What do you think this is? Either way, what a wonderful, wonderful find. And what a wonderful field. It's only about 2 o'clock, so we've still got a little bit of time to go yet. Maybe we'll get a triple silver today. How wonderful would that be? There we are, guys, a hammered coin. Let's push on, see what else comes out. Okay, so not too far on from that last one, I've had another target, and this looks like it's a bullet. Yeah, it looks like one of those kind of Civil War era bullets. It's made of lead. It doesn't really look like it's been fired at anything, or if it has, it's just been fired into the ground. But yeah, I don't find too many of these, so it's actually quite nice to find it. But a nice lead bullet, that's pretty cool. That's got to be a couple of 100 years old at least. Awesome. Certainly would not want to get hit by a lead bullet, that's for sure. I mean, saying that, I wouldn't want to get hit by any bullet, obviously, but a lead bullet, can you imagine? You would get shot and risk lead poisoning. That's like a double whammy. Not good, not good. But there we are, guys, a lead bullet. Let's push on. So I think I'm on a little hotspot here because I've had another target, quite a low conducting target. It was about 52, 53. And I've just gone and found a nice little lead pistol shot. So this is probably 1600s, 1700s, something like that. So yeah, it appears the more further down this field that I go, the more actual sort of things that I'm finding, which is quite typical of ploughed fields, because what you've got to imagine is things get moved and moved and moved every time the field is ploughed. So potentially, if there's a small gradient like I'm on now, everything over time is obviously just shifting and shifting and shifting. So I appear to be on a pretty good little hotspot, guys, and still on for that triple silvered. So wish me luck, let's keep going. So I've just had quite another sort of interesting looking thing. To me, this looks a bit like a Christmas tree, but obviously it's not. It's obviously part of something that was much, much bigger, but it's broken off at some stage, and yeah, I don't really know what this could be. The only thing that springs to mind is that this could be some type of like furniture fitting. So the end of something, so it would have been a lot longer along here, and it would have just bolted to, I don't know, a chest, a casket, maybe even an old door or something like that. But I couldn't tell you how old this one was. It's pretty interesting. It does look pretty old because it's not very uniformed. the spikes on either side are very uneven, so it could potentially be quite old. Whether it's medieval, I'm not really too sure, but it's an interesting little find. Probably about 2 inches below the surface, absolutely screaming 88. So yeah, there's that one, guys. We've got about an hour or so left now, and I'm determined to get that next silver coin. So I am just absolutely going for it, trying to dig any signal that sounds pretty good. So wish me luck, guys. Hopefully I get it, but if I do, you will see it first. Oh my God, guys. You're not going to believe it, but I honestly think I've just pulled out another hammered coin. Oh my Lord. Well, quite literally actually, because I possibly found Jesus earlier as well. But yeah, this was an absolutely corking 89 on the VDI. And to be honest, I hadn't found anything in a little while. I was doing a few trips up and down this field, and I thought, do you know what? My luck's ran out, because I was getting very little signals, very little noise in the ground. I thought the hotspot's probably gone. But I have literally just pulled this out the ground now, and without cleaning it up, because I don't know for sure, this could be a button, but it does look like a hammered coin, guys. And you've got to come and take a look. We'll clean it together and we'll see what it is. Okay, guys, so this is what I have just pulled out of the ground, and it's huge. It's 2 fingers, easily 2 fingers, isn't it? I can't tell much at the moment until we clean it, and there's loads of mud on the other side, so I've got no idea what's on there. Hopefully not a button shank. But guys, now is the time. Let's give it a little clean and see if we've done 3 silvers in one day. Oh wow, yeah, that's definitely a big hammered coin. All right, there is no shank on there at all. There we go, there's a big shield on the front. Oh wow. That's way better than the other 2 combined already. There's actually detail on it. So there's no date on the front, it's a big shield. My guess is this is going to be either a Charles I or possibly a James. So let's turn it around and have a look. Oh, so much mud on this side. Let's try and pick some of it off nice and gently so that we can see who is on this ginormous hammered coin. Okay, now then, that to me actually looks like an Elizabeth I. What would you guys say? That does look like an Elizabeth I, doesn't it? In which case, this would be an Elizabeth I shilling. Now, I've never found an Elizabeth I shilling before. So not only have I found 3 hammered coins today in this ploughed field, but I have also just found my very first Elizabeth I silver hammered shilling. This is going to be dated to the middle of the 1500s, and that is one tidy chunk of silver. Oh, what a find, guys. What a find. What a day this has turned out to be. Oh my God. So I'm going to clean it up properly when I get home, and of course I will stick a picture of this one on the video. But a triple silver day, that's almost worth a dance, isn't it? Almost worth a dance. Woohoo! Triple silver! Triple silver! Yes! Triple silver! Triple silver! Oh! What a great day. Sorry about the dance. Well guys, you're never going to believe it. I've had another coin, but it's not a hammer coin. 4 in one day would just be, you know, taking the mick really, wouldn't it? I've never had 4 in one day. I have had 3 in one day once before. And I certainly remembered that day, and I'm going to remember this day for a long time as well. So yeah, I have had another coin. It's a very green copper alloy Georgian coin, I think. Puh, Georgian coins, eh? Who needs them? On a quiet day, I would have said this was a relatively good find, but on a day like today, I'm not really too bothered about Georgian coins. So there's that one, guys. Still about half an hour left, so you never know, I might get that 4th coin, but I would be happy going home with 3. Yeah, absolutely chuffed. Okay guys, there we have it. We are now at the end of our fantastic day's metal detecting. 3 hammered coins in one day. That Jesus head or whatever it is, can't wait to find out what that is. And Brian's had some interesting bits as well. Unfortunately, Brian had to shoot off a little bit early today, so unfortunately I didn't get to film anything that he found, but I'll try and get hold of him to send me some pictures, and if he does, I'll stick them on the video for you. I've been here since about 9 o'clock this morning, and it's now about 6:15, something like that. So we've put in a really good shift today, and it's paid off because we've actually had some really, really good finds. So I'm now off home, just in the nick of time, because it does look like it's going to rain imminently. The weather's been pretty kind to us today, so I can't complain. But that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, then please consider subscribing. If you've watched this far and you haven't subscribed, then guys, you might as well, because there's going to be plenty more videos like this coming up with loads of really new, interesting permissions as well. And of course, if you do want to support the channel and drop us a like, that would be awesome as well. But until the next time, see you all soon.